The clock of lost time. In the shadowy depths of her grandfather's attic, Clara discovered a relic wrapped in layers of old cloth and dust. It was a clock, ornate and seemingly ancient, with intricate carvings that danced across its surface, whispering of a time long past. Her grandfather, a man of eccentric habits and cryptic tales, had left it to her with a note that read, "To Clara, who seeks the mysteries of time." Skeptical yet intrigued, Clara wound the clock, not expecting the soft, eerie hum that began to fill the room. Time seemed to bend around her, the air pulsating with a rhythm that matched the ticking of the clock. It was then she remembered her grandfather's tales of a clock capable of manipulating time itself. Eager to explore its powers, Clara first made small, seemingly harmless adjustments. She relived moments of joy, corrected minor regrets, and for a fleeting period reveled in her newfound control over time. However, the fabric of reality is delicate, and Clara's actions soon unraveled it thread by thread. Clara, longing for closure, turned back the clock to revisit a lost love, hoping to rekindle a romance that had ended abruptly. She spent days reliving their happiest moments, correcting misunderstandings, and avoiding the event that led to their separation. When Clara returned to her original timeline, she found that her actions had created a reality where her love had become obsessive and controlling, transforming what was once a source of joy into a living nightmare. The people around her, once supportive friends and family, had grown distant, wary of her changed relationship dynamics. This new reality was marked by isolation and fear, far from the happiness she sought to reclaim, instead being a prisoner in her own house. Driven by a desire to erase the pain of a family tragedy, Clara used the clock to prevent a car accident that had taken her younger brother's life. She meticulously orchestrated events to ensure her family never took that fateful trip. While her brother was indeed alive in this new timeline, the absence of the tragedy led to unforeseen changes in her family's dynamics. Without the shared grief that had once brought them closer, Clara's family became estranged, embroiled in conflicts and bitterness that had never existed before. Moreover, her brother, without the humbling experience of survival, grew into a reckless and troubled individual. Kinda like his soul was affected by the lack of the outcome, and he became a cold, terrible person, someone she couldn't recognize anymore. Clara, seeking to bolster her career, manipulated time to seize opportunities she had previously missed. She ensured her presence at critical meetings, corrected past mistakes, and leveraged knowledge of future trends to establish herself as a visionary in her field. Clara's meteoric rise to success came at a great cost. Colleagues and peers, once friends and mentors, grew envious and suspicious of her uncanny foresight and unexplained achievements. She found herself embroiled in a web of corporate sabotage and deceit, her professional environment toxic and untrustworthy. Worse still, the relentless pursuit of success led to a stark and unfulfilling life, devoid of genuine human connections, leaving Clara to ponder the true value of her achievements in a world where she felt increasingly alienated. Desperate to restore the natural order, Clara delved deeper into the clock's mysteries. She uncovered a dark family secret. The clock was not a tool, but a prison, created by her ancestors to contain an ancient horror that fed on the chaos of altered timelines. Her manipulations had weakened its chains, and now it threatened to break free, using her as its vessel to enter the world. Nightmares began to seep into the daylight. Shadows moved with a life of their own, and faces of the people she knew twisted into grotesque versions of themselves. Clara realized that each alteration in time didn't just change the present, but spawned horrifying realities, each worse than the last. However, As Clara continued to alter time, the entity grew bolder, its presence more oppressive. Its features became clearer with each nightmare. Eyes that burned with a malevolent glow, a mouth twisted in a perpetual snarl, revealing glimpses of otherworldly horrors within. These dreams were not mere figments of her imagination, but a window into the malevolence she had unleashed. The entity whispered threats in a language that chilled her to the bone, promising retribution for her tampering with the sacred flow of time. Clara woke from these nightmares, gasping for air, the entity's malevolent gaze lingering at the edge of her vision, a constant reminder of the darkness that now sought to claim her. Armed with the resolve to end her family's curse, Clara faced the entity, a monstrous amalgamation of all the fears and nightmares spawned by the clock's misuse. The battle was waged in the spaces between seconds, a tempest of wills where Clara fought to reclaim her destiny and seal the entity away. In the tragic climax, Clara realized that the only way to permanently bind the entity and repair the timelines was to sacrifice herself, becoming the new guardian of the clock. With a heart heavy with sorrow but firm in resolve, she turned the hands of the clock backward, weaving her essence into its mechanism, forever binding her soul to the device. When Clara, driven by desperation and a resolve to seal away the ancient horror, ventured into the very heart of the clock, she ceased to have ever existed in the fabric of reality. Her decision created a void, a tear in the delicate tapestry of time that she had once woven with such care. Without her presence, lives that had intertwined with hers unraveled in the most tragic of ways. Friends and family, who had once cherished and loved her, were now shadows of themselves, bearing the weight of inexplicable loss and grief they could not understand. The world around her, which had vibrated with the potential of her changes, now lay in disarray, its destiny altered in unforeseeable ways. Relationships that were meant to flourish never came to be. Opportunities that were meant to arise vanished into the ether. The ripple effect of Clara's non-existence was catastrophic, leaving behind a reality fractured by the absence of her being, where those she left behind suffered fates far worse than if she had simply let time flow untouched. The clock, now silent and her story untold, stood as a solemn reminder of the cost of meddling with forces beyond human comprehension. In a terrifying twist of fate, Clara was dragged into a boundless abyss, a domain of unyielding darkness where time itself dared not tread. This chilling void became her eternal cage, shared with the countless tormented souls ensnared by the clock's malevolent curse. These were the fractured, their essences torn apart by their futile efforts to command the clock's forbidden powers, now doomed to an unending nightmare of anguish. Their screams and wails, a haunting symphony of despair, permeated the void, reverberating through the boundless darkness. Clara, who once radiated with life and resolve, was now reduced to a mere whisper among these tortured spirits, her identity fading into the cacophony of eternal torment. As Clara languished in this perpetual horror, the clock, the architect of her despair, sinisterly re-emerged in the realm of the living. By some dark magic, it appeared in the display of an unsuspecting antique shop, deceptively benign yet brimming with malevolence, its true evil veiled beneath the allure of an enigmatic artifact. Its hands crept silently, ominously counting down the moments until it would ensnare another victim, lured by the allure of altering their destiny. The cycle was poised to renew, with the clock lying in ambush for its next prey, eager to extend its legacy of terror to unsuspecting futures. Subscribe now! Activate the bell and be notified when a new horror story is available. Don't lose each new tale as it is ready for you.